John Weiss, welcome back to Table 17. We are working on our Wednesday night Origins class, and in this class we are doing a motor swap on a 1976 Corvette Stingray. We got that motor out, and now I've put in the flywheel, put in the torque converter in there. It's a different size than the one that was in it originally. But that one matches up to the flywheel that we're going to put with this other motor that we're going to temporarily have in here. But I'm going to pose a question to you. You know, we struggle in our life with how do you deal with things that don't happen in your life that are good? What happens? Do you let your heart get cold and hard? And so this class is not only a time where we're doing a restoration on a car, but we're also going to spend some time talking about what it means to let life remain in your heart when things are good, when things are bad, and how to know what it means to follow God, because I'm a Christian, and a lot of this is about Christian principles. One of the parts that I'm just going to share, and this is only going to take a second, but this is out of the book of Job. And Job was a man who didn't have any sin. Whenever there was sin close to him, he always ran from it. But Job started getting tested. And let me tell you something, it was tough on him. At the very beginning, and Job would do sacrifices and all kind of things to please God. But the devil come to him one day and said, hey, if you give him some trouble, he'll turn away from you and he'll reject you. And so God said, okay, let's see what happens. Because God said, have you seen my servant Job? Job is a man whose heart is pure and he wants to follow me. So the entire story is written sometime between 2000 and 1800 BC, before Christ. But I just want to read you a few lines. One day the members of the heavenly court came to present themselves before the Lord, and the accuser, Satan, came with them. Where have you come from? The Lord asked Satan, and Satan answered the Lord and said, I've been patrolling the earth, watching everything that's going on. Then the Lord said to Satan, have you notice my servant Job? ? He's the finest man in the earth. He's blameless, a man of complete integrity. He fears God and stays away from evil. And Satan said to the Lord, yes, but Job has good reason to fear God. You have always put a wall of protection around him and his home and his property. You've made him prosper in everything he does. Look how rich he is. But reach out and take away everything he has, and he'll surely curse you to your face. And the Lord said to him, okay, take it all away and see what happens. And so he says, but don't take his life. You can take away everything he possesses, but don't harm him physically. And Satan went right out and did that. Everything he had in 5 quick phases was taken away from him. In 5 quick spots, everything he had was swept away, and a lot of his servants were killed, and people came and pillaged all of his goods. And then Job had another test. One day the members of heavenly court, but by the way, it says after all that, here's what Job said. He said, Job stood up and tore his clothes in grief. Then he shaved his head and fell to the ground to worship, and he said, I came naked from my father's house, from my mother's womb, and I will be naked when I leave. The Lord gave me what I had, and the Lord has taken it away. Praise the name of the Lord. In all this, Job did not sin by blaming God. Wow. Now, and then it says the second test, one day the members of the heavenly court came again to present themselves before the Lord, and the accuser Satan came with them. Where have you come from? The Lord asked Satan. And Satan answered the Lord, I have been patrolling the earth, watching everything that's going on. Then the Lord asked Satan, have you noticed my servant Job? He is the finest man in all the earth. He is blameless, a man of complete integrity. He fears God and stays away from evil. And he has maintained his integrity, even though you've urged me to harm him without cause. And Satan replied to the Lord, skin for skin. A man will give anything, give it all up. He'd give everything he has for his life, to save his life. but reach out and take away his health, and he will surely curse you to your face. All right, he said, do as you please, the Lord said, but spare his life. And then Satan went right out, and in a moment's time, he was covered in boils. He had all kind of stuff on his skin. He was tore up. And then all of a sudden, he's sitting there in a big pile of rubble, and his wife comes to him and says to him, are you still trying to maintain your integrity? Curse God and die. But Job replied, you talk like a foolish woman. Should we accept only good things from the hand of God and never anything bad? ? So in all this, Job said nothing wrong. When 3 of Job's friends heard of his tragedy, they came by and they sat with him. And they sat there quietly, grieving with him, and didn't say a word. Later on, maybe we'll talk about some other stuff they may have said. We'll see. But for surely, the bottom line is Job maintained integrity. And you know what that means? What that means is we're going to talk about that some more. But it means that you trust God, that you trust whatever he is in your life, and you trust him completely with your heart. You cast your care into his hands, for you can trust him. What happens when you have a stony heart? Only God can change a bad motor inside of us, and he's able to do it. So we're going to talk some more about that here at Table 17 here in just a couple more minutes. You'll see that. Welcome, and peace be with you. Talk to you soon.